Hi all, today we are going to discuss about power MOSFET. This MOSFET stands for metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. It is also called as insulated gate field effect transistor. So when compared to the BJT, it is having four advantages. The first advantage is it has a less gate drive requirement. We have seen in the power BJT, because the base is the drive that is controlling the output, and we have seen that the base current required is very high. So because of that, the gate drive requirement is very high in the case of BJT. But in this case, the input impedance of this drive will be, we are going to see that it will be around 10 to the power of 4 mega ohms. That's why the gate power requirement is almost negligible or very small. It needs less voltage and negligible current. That's why the gate drive requirement decreases drastically. And second one, it has high frequency of operation is possible when compared to BJT, because in BJT the current is because of both the type of carriers, that is minority and the majority carriers, and during the turn off and turn on, the recombination process or removal of both the carriers takes more time. But in this case, only one type of polarity carriers will be there for the production of the charge or for passage of the current. So that's why the removal will be very easy. That also we are going to discuss in detail. And this has the positive temperature coefficient of resistance when compared to the negative temperature coefficient of resistance of BJT. In BJT, when the temperature is increased, the minority carriers increases. So a point will reach the where the breakdown will happen. And second one, because of the negative temperature coefficient of resistance, we cannot operate two BJTs in parallel, because whichever is having more negative temperature coefficient of resistance, that will take the overloading. It will go on taking the overload and it will damage. That problem will not be there in this case. Because of positive temperature coefficient of resistance, because of some reason if the current is increased, the resistance increases because of that, because of increase in the temperature. So automatically it will stop taking the extra load. That is the advantage of this one. So parallel operation is possible, and this is mainly due to the absence of the junctions during the on state condition. That means there are no concept of minority carriers here. And there is another advantage, there is no secondary breakdown, because again the reason is same. The secondary breakdown happens in the BJT due to minority carriers. That problem is not there in the case of power MOSFET. But the disadvantage of this MOSFET is, we are going to see that as the voltage is increased, the on state resistance increases, because size of the MOSFET will increase with increase in voltage. So automatically the on state resistance increases, thereby the losses increases. So the power dissipation is increased. That's why the power MOSFETs are limited to about 500 volts compared to around 1200 volts for the case of BJT. But here it is very less, only 500 volts are allowed. So this can be either P channel type or N channel type, depending on the whether channel material is N type or the P type. But in practice, we always go for the N channel MOSFET. The reason is because the N channel, because N means it is having electrons. So the mobility of electrons are more than holes. Because of the mobility of the electrons, high mobility of electrons, we always go for the N channel MOSFET. So let us see the N channel planar enhancement type MOSFET, how it works. So you will get the doubt, why only enhancement MOSFET, why not depletion type MOSFET? Because the MOSFET is used as a switch in the case of power electronic circuits. So under normal condition, the switch should be off, and only when I want to turn on, so when I give the gate pulse, then it should be switched on. So this is possible only with the case of enhancement MOSFET. We are going to see here, when the gate pulse is 0, it is not going to operate. That means it will act as an open switch, and when the gate signal is given, then only it will act as a closed switch. So let us see how this will operate. So the construction of the basic MOSFET will be like this. This is not power MOSFET. This is basic MOSFET. I want to explain you the basic concept, then we will go for the power MOSFET construction. So on a P substrate, an N plus region is diffused to form both the source and the drain. So from these diffused N plus substrate or the diffused N plus regions, we connect two metallic conductors to take the source and the drain terminals. On the top, there is a SiO2 layer is formed on the top side, on the upper side. So on this SiO2 layer, again a metal conductor is laid, and from this metal the gate terminal is taken out. So you can see here, both the source and drain are directly connected to the semiconductor, but the gate is not directly connected. In between, one SiO2 layer is there. So now what happens, this SiO2 layer will act as a capacitor, because one side plate is this metal, another side plate will be this P substrate will act as the second side of the plate. So whenever you give the voltage, the current cannot pass through this, only displacement current will pass initially when you turn on, and after some time the capacitor will charge, no current will pass. So when you apply the charge here, then because of this charge, this polarization will happen in this plate, and because of that only the conduction is going to happen. So let us see the working principle. So let us assume my VGS is equal to 0 initially and the VDD is applied like this. That means the drain is connected to positive terminal and the source is connected to negative terminal. So now see what will happen when the drain is connected to positive terminal, this N is connected to positive. So that means this N plus and P substrate layer, this layer will be reverse biased and this layer will be forward biased. As one of the layers are reverse biased, so it will not conduct. So whenever you are operating in practice, because this can be opposite also, let us take the case when source is positive with respect to the drain. So in that case also, this N plus P substrate will be reverse biased and this will be forward biased. Always one layer is reverse biased, that's why it cannot operate as a closed switch. So let us now see what will happen when I give the supply to your gate terminal. So when I am giving the voltage to your gate terminal, because it acts as a capacitor, so because this top plate is connected to positive terminal, so here the positive charge will be there. And because of this positive charge, the polarization happens in this dielectric material. Because of the polarization, what happens? The negative charges will induce here and positive charges will induce here. I hope you already have idea about how the capacitor works. If you don't have the idea, you can please refer to my EMFT playlist and you can go to the topic polarization of the capacitor or how the capacitor works. So those two lectures I have explained the complete phenomena of this polarization and how this works in detail. So I am assuming you already have the idea, so I am proceeding. So whenever you give the positive terminal or positive voltage to the gate, so automatically the negative charge will be induced this side. The negative charge will be induced this side. So because of this negative charge, what happens? Because the channel is closed now between this drain and the source. Because here the electrons are induced, here also electrons, these also have majority electrons only, here also one electron channel is formed. Now what happens? The current can pass through this channel. That means the current can pass through this channel. How the current will pass? The current will pass from drain to the source, or otherwise here the majority carriers are electrons, the electrons will pass from source to the drain. So through that the conduction happens. So I am keeping the conventional current direction, the current direction will be like this. So as you are increasing the value of the voltage across this gate, automatically it will induce more charges here, automatically the conductance will increase or the resistance will goes on decreasing or more current can easily pass. And whenever this gate is turned off, then automatically the charges which are induced will completely discharge. So once the capacitor is discharged, these carriers will not be there here. So again it will act as a open switch. So in order to increase the voltage and the current capability of the MOSFET, we go for a method called as vertically diffused power MOSFET. So it is in the IC form which contains many MOSFETs in parallel. So advantage of connecting in parallel combination is, let us assume each is having a resistance of R. When multiple MOSFETs are connected in parallel, so automatically the overall resistance will decrease, and when they are connected in parallel, the current carrying capacity will increase. When the current carrying capacity is increased, automatically the power rating of your device will increase automatically. So how this is made? So this is made like this. Initially we take one N plus substrate. On an N plus substrate, this plus indicates over doping. That means the doping level is more of the order of 10 to the power of 19 per centimeter cube. So this N plus substrate, above this N plus substrate, N minus substrate is formed. So above this N minus substrate, this minus indicates lightly doped. Here the doping will be of the order of 10 to the power of 14 per centimeter cube, and this region is called as the drift region. The purpose of this drift region is to increase the reverse voltage withstanding capability, because we know out of these two junctions, one junction will always be reverse bias depending on the input voltage. I have already explained before. So during the reverse bias condition, if your carriers are having it is lightly doped, in that case the barrier width will be more. As the barrier width is more, it can withstand the more voltage. So how it will withstand the more voltage, I have already explained in power diodes. You can please refer to that lecture if you don't know why it is made like that. So now above this N minus layer, another layer is formed which is the P minus layer, which is also called as the body layer. So why it is called as the body and other things I am going to explain. So this layer is also again P minus, and above this layer n plus layer is formed which will act as a collector. I am repeating once again, there will be n plus substrate which is heavily doped. On this lightly doped n minus layer is formed, and above this lightly doped p layer is formed, and above this heavily doped n plus layer is formed. So this p minus layer is called as the body. So because this p minus layer, you can see here, this is connected or short circuited with the collector terminals using the metals. So let us proceed further. On the top of this, what will happen, because I told you that in the IC multiple MOSFETs are connected in parallel. They are fabricated in parallel. Let us take for example, up to this part, this is one MOSFET, this is another MOSFET. Like multiple MOSFETs are connected in parallel. So this N plus forms the collector region. You can see here one metal conductor is used for connecting the adjacent collectors in parallel. So all the collectors are connected in parallel like this. So you can see this is one collector, this is second collector, they are connected in parallel like this. Again, this is also connected in parallel to the next one. So in between SiO2 layer is formed, and above this SiO2 layer one gate terminal is formed. Above this SiO2 layer one gate terminal is formed. Actually gate terminal should be formed at the P minus junction only, but along with that it will be extended to even N minus region also. So why it is extended, that also I am going to explain when I am discussing about the working of this MOSFET. So now a metal conductor is formed around this SiO2 layer to take the gate terminal. So the voltage to the gate is provided using the voltage source VGS, and this is my source. All the sources are connected in parallel and they are connected through your load to your VDD. So VDD is connected between the drain and the source. VDD indicates the drain voltage. Getting this? So now let us see how this will operate. So under the normal condition, like VDD is applied here, you can see here this N terminal is connected to positive terminal. So what happens? This N minus and P minus, because this is N plus N minus, here junction is not formed. This N minus P minus layer, this layer will get reverse biased, and this P minus N plus layer is forward biased. Getting this one? Because this positive is connected here N, so this will get reverse biased. Again with respect to this second terminal, because the source is connected to 0 volts or the reference potential, then this P minus is at positive potential with respect to this source. So that's why this will be forward biased. So now what happens, because of this reverse bias, the current cannot pass. Because of the reverse bias layer, the current cannot pass. So now what happens, when you are giving the gate voltage, so because applying the gate voltage, because it is connected to positive terminal, so the charges are formed here, the positive charge is applied here, so the negative charges will be induced here. So when the negative channels are induced here, you can see the channel is closed now, the negative channel is provided. So now what happens, because as this N plus N minus, so it will pass like this. So it will pass like this and the current can pass in this way. So in this way the drain current can pass. So similar is the case for this side also, the current can pass like this. The current can pass like this. Actually current cannot pass like this because this junction is reverse biased because of this induced charges. So how it will pass? It will pass from substrate to the drift region, and through this, because of this electrons wherever the charges are formed, through them it will pass through your source and it will be going out, or the circuit will be closed. So in this way your power MOSFET will operate. So when VGS is equal to 0, VDD makes this N minus P minus junction, that N minus P minus junction reverse biased. So no current will pass. Even if you are applying the negative half cycle, during the another half cycle what happens? The body source PN junction, body source means between these two junctions, these junctions will be reverse biased. So in that case also current cannot pass. So in this case, whenever the current is conducting or when the current is passing, you can see here current is passing from N plus layer to N minus layer. Again through the electron, the channel that is found because of induced electrons, it is passing through N plus layer and going out. You can see here the entire channel is having the same type of carriers. That means it is having only one type of carriers. So that's why it is having this single type of carrier. That is the advantage of this. So as no minority carriers, the reason is the gate is isolated from the body. That is the main reason why the minority carriers are not there. So now proceeding further, as the conduction is only by the majority carriers alone, the time delay caused by removal or recombination with minority carriers is completely eliminated. So therefore, it can operate at high switching frequencies of the order of megahertz when compared to the power BJT which can operate only in the kilohertz range. So now this overlap of this gate, because this gate is there, this gate you can see it is covering the entire area, this entire area it is covered. So same thing, that is called as overlapping of gate metallization, this metal part, gate metallization across the n minus drift region. So it is expanded up to the n minus drift region, enhances the conductivity of drift region at n minus SiO2 interface. Actually this gate should be found only for this P minus region in order to provide this conduction, that means avoid the problem of reverse biasing. But this is extended up to this drift region. Because of that, what happens here, more electrons are formed, so automatically resistance offered for the passage of current will be less in this n minus SiO2 layer at this region. So that is the major purpose of this one. So advantage of this is on state resistance will decrease, the on state resistance will decrease. So now coming to the second one, why this body and the source are short circuited here using a metal. Why this body part, that means P minus layer, and this N plus layer is shorted here. What is the purpose for this? So if you observe, if they are not shorted, you can see this is N, this is P, and this is N layer. So because of this NPN, there is a chance that here a BJT can form, here a bipolar junction transistor can form here, because three different layers are there. So here the source is there for the case of FET. In the case of BJT, we call it as the emitter. So here we can take this N plus layer as a emitter, this P minus body layer as a gate, and this N minus and N plus layer, this will act as your collector. Getting it? So now if there is a potential difference between this body layer and this collector layer, so because of the potential difference between the emitter and the base, what will happen? This will come to the on state, and there is a chance that it will start acting as a BJT. That means along with acting as a FET, one more extra feature will add, it will start acting as a BJT. When it start acting as a BJT, what will happen? The flow through the minority carriers also will be there. Because of the flow through the minority carriers, what happens? This switch on and switch off time will be more, because it will take more time to remove the carriers from the junctions. So that is the disadvantage. So I want that it should not act as a BJT. So this BJT that is formed is called as the parasitic BJT. This is due to N plus P minus and N minus. So to avoid this, what I do, I want that the voltage difference between this base and the emitter should be as minimum as possible, or otherwise the voltage difference between the body layer and the collector layer, or this source layer, should be as minimum as possible. That's why they are connected together by a metal source. That's why it is named here, it is body source is short circuited. Because of this, this will become ineffective. But there is a disadvantage. Because of doing this short circuit, one diode will be formed. So now you can see here, as this supply is directly connected to the body, so this body is a P and this is a N. So between this P and N, or between your source and your drain, one diode is formed automatically. This diode is called as parasitic diode. So this diode is found between the source and drain due to body short circuit. But we are going to take it as a benefit only. So this integral diode is used during the half bridge and full bridge converters. So I am going to explain this in detail when we go to them. Now coming to the symbol of this power MOSFET, the symbol of the power MOSFET is represented like this. So this arrow indicates the direction of the electron flow, because in this case the electrons are passing from source to the drain. So that's why the arrow is indicated, or otherwise this arrow is indirectly indicating the direction of the parasitic diode, because you can see the parasitic diode is connected between the source to the drain. That's why it is connected between source to the drain. So this is one type of symbol used. So this indicates the N channel MOSFET, and if it is a P channel, it will be opposite. In some books you will observe that along with this, one extra diode will be connected here across the source and the drain, and the direction of diode will be in the direction of this arrow. So that also indicates the parasitic diode. That need not be indicated in practice because it is already implied. So now coming to the operating characteristic of this MOSFET. So the operating characteristic of the MOSFET, as you are increasing the drain to source voltage for a given value of the gate to source voltage, the current will increase up to certain extent. After that it will saturate. You can see as you are increasing the value of the gate voltage, the characteristics will go on shifting, and a point will reach where your because one junction is reverse biased. Let us assume, for example, this VDD is connected here. So this junction is reverse biased. So as the voltage is increasing, the barrier width will goes on increasing, and a point will reach where this barrier width will break down, which we call as the avalanche breakdown. Avalanche breakdown can happen. So that is indicated by BVDSS, drain to source voltage, at point at which there will be a breakdown. So here the breakdown can happen. Getting it? So in this region, as there is a linear relationship between ID and VDS, that's why this is our operating region for our MOSFET. So this region is called as the ohmic region or operating region. So in this region, even though you are increasing the value of the VDS, if the gate source voltage is equal to 0, there will be no conduction. So that's why this region is called as the cutoff region. So under this region, your circuit will operate as a off switch. So as the voltage is increasing, because there is a reverse bias is applied here, so automatically the length of this N minus layer and P minus layer required will increase automatically. So as this layer length is increased, automatically you can see the length of passage of this current is increasing. Because as the width is increasing, automatically this length increases. We know R is equal to rho L by A. As the length is increasing, automatically resistance increases. So that's why the on state resistance will increase. So automatically power loss will increase. That's why the MOSFET design is practically limited to only 500 volts only, not more than that in practice. That is the only disadvantage of MOSFET. So now coming to the transfer characteristic. Transfer characteristic means it is the characteristic between the input and the output. Here my input is the VGS, gate to source voltage, and by changing it, how the ID is changing for a given value of the source voltage. So now you can see the curve will be like this. Until my VGS reach some threshold value, it will not operate. Once it cross some threshold value, then the electrons are formed there. So automatically the conduction will start. As you are increasing the value of VGS, the current will goes on increasing. So this is my actual value. Ideal value, it will be a linear characteristic like this. So where it is intersecting, so this minimum value at which this FET will start conducting, so that is called as VGS threshold. Getting it? So now coming to the switching on and switching off characteristics. So let us assume VGS I have applied as a pulse, rectangular pulse like this, but whenever you apply, immediately it cannot turn on, because you can see your gate source, this gate, because it is nothing but a capacitor. So capacitor, whenever you suddenly apply the voltage, capacitor will start charging because polarization will start happening, and for some time the drift current will pass, displacement current will pass between them. So the capacitor will gradually charge. So the capacitor doesn't respond immediately, it will gradually start charging. So as it goes on charging, a point will reach where the threshold value of the voltage will be reached, above which the current will start passing. That means once it goes to the value of VGST, that is the gate threshold value, then the current will start increasing, and as the voltage is increased, the current will goes on increasing, and the current will goes on increasing up to some certain value of the gate voltage. Above this, the current will get saturated, it will remain constant. If your supply voltage is greater than this, that means the gate voltage is more than this, it will goes on increasing. Your capacitor will charge to full voltage. Now let us assume at instant t1, I have turned off my gate input. So immediately it cannot turn off. Again the capacitor, as per its time constant, it will go on discharging. So once it starts discharging, until it reaches the VGSP, there is no effect on the current. But once it starts decreasing below this VGSP, the current will go on decaying, and by the time it reaches the threshold value, it will completely discharge and the current becomes 0. So let us see what are these different times. So first time is termed here as VDN. VDN is nothing but the turn on delay. So the turn on delay indicates it is the time for the input capacitance to charge to the gate threshold voltage, which is given by VGST. Then this TR is called as the rise time. It is the time for the gate voltage to reach from VGST to the voltage required to turn on the MOSFET completely. That means until the MOSFET reaches its peak value of this current, drain current. So up to that point, so that corresponding voltage is called as VGSP, and the time taken between these two, that means from current 0 to current maximum, this is called as the rise time. So whenever you turn off, again two times are there. One is a TDF, which is turn off delay time. The turn off delay time is the time the capacitor start discharging from its peak value to the value VGSP. that is called as the turn off delay time. After that current will start decreasing and the instant when the current becomes 0, so that is called as the fall time. So fall time is the time between VGSP to VGST. By the time it reaches the threshold voltage, the current will become 0. So in this case, as only one type of carriers are there, the turn off and turn on time is very small in this case of MOSFET when compared to BJT. But the disadvantage of this power MOSFET is it is having very high on state resistance drop. So because of this very high on state resistance drop, so losses are more, so the power is limited. And the second disadvantage is it cannot be used for high voltages, because if you want to go for high voltages, the size increases drastically and again the resistance also increases. So to avoid these two disadvantages, so one more device is there. So that device we are going to discuss in the next class. I hope that the working of the power MOSFET is completely clear to you. If you still have any queries, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. I will answer to your queries from there. Thank you. Thank you very much.